Hey, I'm Anthony. And there's only one thing I like more than fishing, and that's catching. Welcome to OC Outdoorsman. Look at that. Look at that wing.
Oh, you should tell you.
Huge. Hey guys, welcome back to OC Outdoorsman. Well, I figured I'd make a really quick video on recent modifications or hacks that I've made to my kayak. So let's take a closer look. First of all, this is a Guardian Angel Elite Series marine light. Actually, it's a multi-purpose light, but I use it. Let me show you this. It's all earth magnets. Look how powerful that is. This is the mount that it comes with, and it's super strong. So I'm going to bring you over to my Yak here, and you can see that there's a mount that you can put on the bow of the Yak. And look at this. Let me turn this on first. Now, because it's daytime, it may not look very bright, but in the low light conditions of the early morning, these things are pretty intense. And as you know, the green light needs to be on the starboard side, red has to be on the port side. And the cool thing about this is that it serves not just as a marine light, and by the way, this does meet all Coast Guard regulations, but you can also use it as a flashlight for your hat. Now watch this. I'm just going to shut these off for now. There's different modes, as you can see. But look, on the very front, you can turn this into a flashlight. So if I want to mount this on my hat, I can just put that there. And look at that. That's not going anywhere. So as I'm setting up my kayak in the early morning hours when it's super dark, this thing can just be mounted on my hat and I can rig things up in the darkness. And then when it's time to take off, I'll just turn off that flashlight and go back to putting that on as a marine light. So now for the rear, this is what I've done. As you know, I've converted an 8-foot fishing rod into my safety flag. I know it's kind of ghetto, but this is by the way, this is only half. It's a 2-piece rod. So what I've done is I've just taken the top part off because there's no way this is going to fit in my garage. But normally it's about 8 foot in length, and at the very top of this flag I added this ping pong ball attached to a pen light. Now this pen light, it's an LED pen light, is 135 lumens, and again, it may not look bright now, but in the darkness of the morning, this thing is intense because the ping pong ball diffuses the light and it is super bright in the early morning hours. So this works really well. By the way, this idea came from MDLR Fishing. If you haven't checked out his channel, I believe he's based in Texas. And he did something a little different. I just modified it a bit to fit better on my flag. But this works really well. Alright. So that Guardian Angel light's pretty cool. They do, if you look it up on YouTube, look up Guardian Angel Elite. They throw these things under trucks, they run them over. Really great build quality. Now let's take a look at another mod that I've done. And you may have seen this from a previous video, but I thought I'd share this with you again. I created this sunshade, this visor for my fish finder. And all this is basically this. It's a really cheap plastic storage container. You can get these at any 99-cent store. Obviously very cheap. All I did was I trimmed off this top part here. And they normally sell these in black, but when I went the other day, all they had was blue, green, and orange. So I picked the orange one, and then I just spray painted it. So you'll see all this. All I had to do was trim it, cut open a slot right here, cut that open, and then I velcroed it to the fish finder. The great thing about having a visor is that you can turn down the brightness of your fish finder. I have it set to 50%, and that makes the battery last forever. Because I am using a lithium-ion battery, that thing will go for several days without a recharge. So I do encourage you using a visor for your fish finder if you want to save batteries. Now, let's talk about my recently updated anchoring system. And you can see it's pretty compact. All this really is an old 10-pound barbell weight that you're seeing here that I zip tied to a scuba diving reel. This is great because it's thumb activated. All you have to do is hold this down, back up a little bit, and then you can release the line. So if you're out there on the water, you can just drop this over the side, hold down the lever, and then it'll just go out to the bottom of the of your body of water, whether it's a lake or an ocean. And then it's a quick retrieve, right? You can just bring it back in that way. So that's my dive reel. Now, attached to the top of my dive reel is a bungee, and I'll tell you, this bungee is important, and I'll explain that later. But going from the dive reel, I've attached a couple of floats. This is just an old pool noodle. You can see I wrapped the bungee around it, and at the very tip I added a secondary float, a little yellow high visibility float. And then at the end of that bungee, I have a stainless steel carabiner and then just regular paracord. Now, what you want to do is make sure that you have enough paracord to go across the length of your kayak. Now, I have a 13.2 foot kayak, but really it only needs to go to be about the same length as your anchor trolley. All right, so I have about a 10-foot anchor trolley, so I only needed 10 feet of line. And I'm just going to bring it back over here to show you how this works. By the way, this is the Yak Attack lever lock anchor trolley. Excellent, excellent anchor trolley, and I'll show you how that works in a second. And then finally, just to show you how this works, why don't we do this? I'm going to take my paracord, and you'll see I don't have another carabiner here. I've seen a lot of people use carabiners. All I'm using here is a surgeon's loop knot. These things are solid, and I can hook them up this way. So essentially, you're just going to feed it through your anchor trolley. Okay, and then up here, this is now on my seat, I have this stainless steel swivel shackle. You could get these on Amazon. I got a pair of these for like 12 bucks, $11.99. But you want the stainless steel. If you're going to be out on the ocean, you don't want this thing rusting away. Now look, you could just pull this open and you'll attach your anchor line through the surgeon's loop knot into the shackle swivel right there. Look at that. Let me show you how this works. So now it's going from there into my anchor trolley. So now if I wanted to have my boat facing into the wind or the current, I'll just move it forward towards the bow. Okay, so I'm just going to go from here all the way out to the bow, so that now when I drop the anchor and the current pushes me back, I'll be facing towards the wind or the current. So why have a quick release system? Well, there are several reasons. I'll share with you a really quick story. If you recall, last summer I was anchored down on the ocean, and for some reason I had my anchor down, but I had the line wrapped around my rod holder. Should have used my anchor trolley, but I just dropped it straight down. It wasn't very deep. It was maybe 25, 30 feet. And then I just dropped my anchor down, looped it here. And then a huge swell hit me, and my anchor got wedged between massive rocks on the bottom, so it would not move. And when that big swell hit me, it just flipped my kayak upside down. I got thrown overboard. Now, I wasn't using an anchor trolley, which has a little bit of give. Secondly, I didn't have a bungee. So that's why I always recommend using a bungee, because if you're ever caught in a swell and you're wedged into some rocks, as your kayak is about to be flipped or capsized, this, you see how it stretches, will give you some time. You could actually feel the pressure as your kayak is being flipped. It'll give you some time to release the anchor. It will not flip instantly. Look at that. So that will buy you a few seconds, which should be plenty of time for you to just deploy, especially if you have a quick release like this. So if you notice, if you're caught in that situation and you can feel that your kayak is about to flip, all you have to do is, you can see here, I attach another piece of paracord to the quick release system here. And again, that's just a surgeon's loop nut. All I have to do is I'll just grab this and boom, it comes right off. You saw how that flew out? So now it'll just go right through your anchor trolley and you're free. Now, with these floats, your anchor remains on the bottom. This will remain on the surface. So later when it's safe, you can come back and retrieve your anchor. So that's the quick release, quick deploy system. And really all it is, the major components, in my case I use a 10-pound barbell weight attached to this dive reel. Then at the top of the dive reel I have the bungee, which is attached to my flotation devices right here. And from there it's just regular paracord. Remember, you want to have a length that will go across, or that is similar to the length of your anchor trolley. And in my case, that was about 10 feet. So that you can move the anchor to the bow and the stern without issue. So the key feature of this lever lock anchor system is this guy right here. So let's say you're now in position, you've put your anchor towards the bow, as in my case here, and you want to lock it down. All you have to do is pull this lever forward, boom. This thing is not moving. So this will save you from having to use a cleat or to tie any knots to keep your anchor in place. And then when it's time to move on and you want to pull your line in, just unlock this and pull everything back in like so. So this is a really nice anchor system. That is the Yak Attack lever lock system. So that's really it. Those are the most recent modifications, or hacks if you will, that I've made to my kayak. Hey, thanks for watching, and please do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. It will really help out the channel, and once again, thank you for watching.